But passion trumps experience every time. So these are the 5 things I've learnt in my 5 years on YouTube. Number 1. Video content, sharing video content. This is relevant through YouTube, Facebook, wherever, is a two-way medium. Gone are the days where as a musician, a creator, a band, whatever, that you just put something out there and then you walk away and you go work on the next thing and you put it out. It's the same with your music. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in my view, there's two-way interaction now. So what have I learnt to actually do? Well, comment responses. So when people comment on something, responding to a comment. And I still try to do this to this very day. It is much trickier now, but especially when you're starting out, if you're sharing your music, if you're creating videos and sharing content, when someone comments, when someone spends the time not only to watch it, but probably to like it and then to leave you a comment, even if your comment is just thanks and a thumbs up emoji, do it, because that's going to help you in a couple of ways. It'll make you and the person feel warm and fuzzy, and it'll mean that the next time that they see you pop up, then they're probably going to watch your content the next time around. Second part, if you don't care about the warm and fuzzies, is in a lot of the algorithms, and in YouTube in particular, the more comments and the more interaction you have, the better. So you responding to comments shows other people that you're going to respond, then they will comment. It creates this sort of momentum, and to the point where I've got videos from 3 years ago and people comment on them now simply to say, I can't believe, or as I'll usually say, brah, I can't believe you're still commenting and replying to comments from a video you put out 3 years ago. So yeah, just being a little bit different and doing that, I think has definitely helped me. That's one of my big learnings. Number 2 is to keep on point. When I started, I would make videos that were 20 minutes on how to turn on 24-bit editing, like 24-bit audio in GarageBand. I would spend a lot of time explaining things. I would explain what I was going to do. Then I was going to explain how it was important. Then I was going to explain what the end result would be once you did it. What I've learned is, especially in the education space, but even in the entertainment world, people want stuff. They want it right now. Attention spans are getting slower. So when I'm creating videos now, I sit down and think, what am I trying to do here? What's the point that I'm trying to get across? And I make sure that that's front loaded as much as possible. I don't spend 20 minutes explaining and then reveal at the end. I reveal at the front. Now, some people will say that's bad YouTube practice. I should do that teaser thing where I'm like, hang around till the end, guys, because that's where all the good information is. No, I'll just give you the information. And then for those that do want the additional stuff, I will often delve into it. So number 2, keeping on point. And I better move on before I don't take my own advice. Number 3, the quality of the message is super important. So I've learned again over time that the quality of the video itself, the production, the video, the audio, the editing, all of that is good, but that is secondary to the actual content. It's like music. You can go into a $1 million studio and record a crappy song in pristine 24-bit 192 kilohertz sound on a high-end interface with a friggin' Neve console, and it's still going to be a crappy song, yeah? It's the same with video content. It's the same with sharing. So if you're a band and you're sharing something, I would rather see crappy smartphone footage with audio of a really interesting rehearsal or a really interesting like behind the scenes of a gig or something when you're playing on a stage, rather than a highly produced slick video that's 12 minutes of just boring nothingness. So what is the message and what the quality of that message is, I think, is super important. The audio is important. Now, I just mentioned, it doesn't matter about the quality, but you know what? And yes, I'm biased, 100%, hand up, I'm biased. The quality of the audio is more important than the quality of the video. Now, feel free to jump into the comments and argue with me. I'll be down there, as we've already said, I'll respond to you. But to me, when I put a video on, if I get audio that's crackly, that's echoey, that's just like not on point, that sounds like they're talking through a tunnel, I will turn off that video, even if the video is crisp and pristine. Flip it around, I've got a very high tolerance level, and it's been proven that most people are similar to me. A high tolerance level for some slightly grainy footage or some shaky footage if the audio is on point. So I think it is really important that when you start creating videos and sharing videos, especially if you're in the audio field, if you're a band or if you're a performer and you're sharing music related videos, that your audio is as good as you can get it. Now, we're not talking, you don't need to go out and spend thousands of dollars and get perfect audio, but just better audio. And that's, again, that's the whole focus of this channel, is how do you get the best audio for the lowest cost. You buy yourself a $50 USB microphone, you're going to get some pretty good audio. Spend $200 on an interface and an XLR mic, and you're going to get yourself a really nice setup and good audio for your videos. And I've already sort of covered on it, but number 5 is, what is the purpose of your video? And to me, there's really only 2 purposes of sharing any content, and that is to entertain or to educate. So again, if there's another thing, if you can think of something else that you're doing, but think of the videos you watch, think of the content that you consume, think of why you watch this show or any other show on YouTube. It's probably that it educates you or it entertains you. And hopefully what I try to do here, it doesn't always work out, is the holy grail is to do both. So if I can entertain, if we can have a bit of fun, if we can have a laugh, and at the same time you pick up a couple of tidbits of information that are going to help you with something that you're passionate about, then all the better. So every time I sit down and go, right, I'm going to create a video here, I have to stop and think, is this going to educate or entertain or both? And if it does neither, why am I producing it? I mean, sometimes it may just be, I'm a terrible vlogger. You will never see me have a vlog channel, because you know what? Sometimes a day in the life of me is boring as stuff, because sometimes things just don't happen. Sometimes it's nothing that I've got to share that is either entertaining or educational. It's just things that I did. And some people might say, hey, that's okay to share. And I like to share that sort of thing because it's for me. Totally fine. Totally dig that. I get it. But if you're thinking in terms of the end consumer, you're thinking in terms of someone that's watching your video and you're trying to create content that's going to actually be engaging, keep that in mind. Educate or entertain. And I'll give you a bonus tip here. And this is what I wanted to really reinforce. I'll save this for last, for number 6. But passion trumps experience every time, just like in music. The reason I'm talking about this on a music channel is that music and video kind of go hand in hand. All these tips you could go back, especially the audio one, all these tips you could go back and use for your audio, for your music, as well as your video. But passion trumps experience every time. There are hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people producing content and putting out videos and making music that have much more experience than I do. But maybe I'd like to think that I'm probably in the top 20% when it comes to passion, because I love what I do. I love creating music, and I love sharing with other people everything that I'm learning about creating music. And I think that's potentially, for a lot of you, what comes through. You know that I'm not just here spreading a message that I don't believe in. Every time I say something, comes from in here. It's something that I actually believe in and that I want to share and that I want to help and, again, educate and entertain folks around music creation. So when you're starting out, remember, do something you're passionate about. We've seen it recently, like everyone jumping on bandwagons, people into cryptocurrency and cannabis and like all of these trends and all these channels that pop up. I'm like, you are not passionate about cryptocurrency. You just think that Bitcoin's going to make you $1 million. But for those that are really passionate about what they actually talk about, you can really tell, or at least I think so. So there you go, 5+1 tips if you are creating videos for YouTube.